Welcome back to TFE, a weekly news podcast in which we give our thoughts, feelings, and emotions on the latest gaming, film, tech, streaming news, and other random crap we feel like. I am your host, Dan, and I'm joined you as always by my co-host, Danny.
Hello, how's it going? In this week's episode, we're going to talk about the Flash saga continuing, America bans everything but guns, and Alexa brings loved ones back from the dead.
Yes, and we're going to first go on to our rapid reviews of our things we watched this week. Obi-Wan. Final episodes come out. We have done a TBO on it. Yes, so go check that out last week. We have slightly
mixed feelings.
Slightly mixed, although I think the general consensus is very similar.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It does weird things that I wouldn't have expected it to do, but ultimately I think it's just good. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it ruins Star Wars forever. But yeah, you can hear our full thoughts on most of the Star Wars stuff that's happened because we didn't. It was just a talking episode.
Yes, and Ms. Marvel continued as well with episode 3. Episode 3.
3? It was a wedding one, and they had a little wedding and whatnot, and the bad guys turned up. I'm enjoying it. It's not the worst thing in the world.
It's better than Hawkeye.
It's certainly not what I. And Boba Fett.
The very low bars we set for these shows.
Yeah. We'll do a TBO-ness on it at some stage, and then The Boys' greatest show in television this year.
Yes, arguably the best episode to date.
Yes, and not just because of tits and dicks. There's character in it.
Yes, there was very good character development and a lot of emotional weight to the episode. So yes, we do recommend everyone checks out those TV shows. But let's go on to stream that movie news into my head, where a shell is born. If you can't tell, I can't talk today. I don't really know why.
When's that ever changed anything, Dan? Yeah, so the trailer is Marcel, a shell with shoes on, which is just the weirdest trailer I've ever seen. It's like a docu-series, but for a shell trying to find its shell family. And it's just weird. It's just a very weird trailer. And I was like, that's certainly an interesting thing. It's just like, because it's made by the same company who did Everything Everywhere All at Once, so that's why it stuck out to me. Because
because they've done,
it's like A24. Yeah,
they've done some interesting stuff before. To be fair, that now makes sense with like the googly eyes and stuff.
But yeah, it's just a weird trailer, and I'm like, I might go watch this movie because I like weird shit.
Yeah.
And then the other one for trailers is Lai Crocodile, which is, I don't know how to explain this. This is just a weird premise as well. It's just a lot of weird premises. It's a crocodile that can sing, basically, or dance, based on the children's book about a crocodile that lives in New York. And it's voiced by Shawn Mendes. So,
I mean, that makes sense. To have a singer doing a singing role. Who would have thought?
Yeah, but it's only got 3 comments on the trailer that I picked out of 11,000 views. So people are super excited for this movie. It's just a weird premise of a crocodile, they put a lot of effort into the CGIing a crocodile.
Yeah, to be fair, it looks pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not terrible CGI. It's just a weird fucking premise for a movie.
It looks a lot better than Doctor Strange's Third Eye.
Well, that's not difficult.
I'm just saying, that Marvel film has a lot higher budget than this one does.
You don't know that. This could be a $400 million budget.
Absolutely no chance.
They could be paying Shawn Mendes just that alone to get his sultry voice. A man who I don't think I've ever listened to any of his songs, maybe, at all.
I've heard some of his songs before.
I've heard the name. I don't think I know any of his songs off by heart or by name.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you have heard one of his songs before.
I'm sure I've heard it, but I don't know any off by name or anything like that. I just know the person. Because you hear who he's dating at every one time, and I'm like, I don't care about this at all. Like, I don't care who's dating who in the world of celebrity. It's a boring premise to care about.
Yes, that is true, but there is some more interesting news that is very depressing, which is Ezra Miller.
That's going to be the theme of this episode, depression.
Yeah.
And just sad stuff.
Yes, Ezra Miller.
It's not a lot of good news.
Has continued, and there has been even more disturbing facts, which is Ezra Miller is currently housing 3 young children and their mother at a farm.
Yeah, and the dad's not happy.
This guy, man.
Well, okay, so...
Oh, sorry, not guy. I don't know.
So, the sources claim the living condition at the Flash's star's farm are unsafe for children, alleging that there are weapons lying around and that a 1-year-old put a loose bullet in their mouth. Yeah, a small child put
It's
a
so
bullet
messed
in
up.
it. Yeah. But the mother, who, like the father, is not named, claims that Miller had helped her escape from a violent and abusive ex, and Miller helped me finally have a safe environment for my 3 very young children. So it's a very mixed situation.
So what you're saying, he's done another cult thing.
Yeah. He's probably tricked this woman into thinking that her husband's violent against her so that he can get access to small children whenever he wants.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It's a messed up situation.
Yes, I mean, he's still on the run at the minute. Still not been caught.
Also, the mother is 25 years old. So she's had very young kids.
Well, yeah, it's a 1-year-old.
Yeah, and then there's 2 other kids. So it's like, very young. So it's even creepier because we don't know how long Ezra Miller has been known this woman. Could have known her since she was 12. Like,
yeah.
He knows a lot of young.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
It's a fucked up situation, and Ezra Miller is a horrible person.
Yes, I can't believe just how many worse news stories we seem to get every week.
Yeah. It's like the floodgates have opened and Aquaman's come out with all this bullshit.
And yet the Flash movie's still going ahead.
Yeah. DC's pinned its hopes and dreams on it.
I think the argument is we spent so much money on this, we don't want to spend any more. So we're just going to release it, so then we won't make as much money. As if we just, got rid of Ezra Miller.
I would love to know how much DC has lost just by releasing movies that no one cares about. Because they spent all this money on Batman v Superman, and then it didn't make as much money. It didn't make $1 billion, which is what they were hoping it would make. Then they didn't make $1 billion off Justice League. They then re-released Justice League with a different cut and spent a lot of money on that. And then just released it to streaming, so they only got subscription-based profits. And then they've had this, they've had Aquaman, they've had a lot of other stuff that's just like in their back burner that's just probably going to lose them a lot of money. Or has lost them a lot of money. It's just a weird franchise at this point.
I mean, yeah, how many years has this film been in development for?
Since the conception of the DCEU, because it was announced in 2016.
Oh.
No, 2012 was the beginning of the DCEU, where Superman, and it was meant to still technically maybe tie into the Nolan verse. And then you had a 4-year gap. No, 2013 actually is when Man of Steel came out. So yeah, you had a 3-year gap where you had nothing, and then they started announcing all these properties that they would be doing. And I think in 2014 is probably when the Flash movie was first conceived of, because that's I think when Batman v Superman was announced, and so they'd hired Ezra Miller and everything in 2014 off the backs of some movies that he'd done.
Yeah.
And then because DC never wanted to do the Marvel approach where they get all their superhero movies, solo movies out the way, and then they do the big team up. They were like, no, we'll do the big team ups first, and then do solo shit. People just struggled how to do a story because you can't really do stories afterwards because there's no stuff. So I think it went through 8 different directors.
Yeah.
To try and get the one who's currently done the directing of this film.
All right, if you had to get rid of Ezra Miller, which we do want to anyway, but I don't know why it's like that.
Well, I never liked him in the role anyway. I've never liked him in any of
Who would you rather have as the main lead?
Logan Lerman.
I'm going to pretend I know who that is.
It's the guy from Percy Jackson, I think.
Yeah, I think most of the internet seems to want Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of...
he's also in the movie with Ezra... The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I think has Ezra Miller in it, if I'm correct. I can't see the cast list. There it is. Yeah. Perks of Being a Wallflower, 2012, which is the movie that put Ezra Miller on the map. Also has Logan Lerman in it, so it'd just be funny to replace him with him.
I actually think if DC were to replace Ezra Miller with Grant Gustin and then reshot his scenes, they could probably make most of the money. They would make all the money at least back by doing that.
I don't know, because I don't know how popular the Flash show is. I know it's probably the most popular of the like CW shows.
Well, the main
isn't it?
criticism of the CW show isn't Grant Gustin. In fact, he's just
No.
he's the reason people stick along.
Yeah. I'm not saying that.
Everyone
I'm just saying
criticizes just
that-
because how bad the writing is.
Yeah, but I'm
he
just
can
saying that
act
it's
in
a
good
very.
writing. So he can act in bad.
It's only
writing,
the
so.
TV audience and maybe some of the movie audience that actually knows who that guy is based on like actual appeal.
My point is,
So-
he's just proven, right? He has proven that he.
Yeah,
can
he's
do
a
the role.
proven Flash. I get that. I'm just saying it would just in terms
I
of
don't know how
like
it would
Hollywood.
work because it would just seem weird.
Well, no, because you already had the crossover episode, didn't you?
Yeah, actually, how great would it be if you just, did another Flashpoint and just erased the whole of DCEU and just replaced DCEU with the CW Flash and erased the CW shows?
Well, they've already
entirely?
done that in the show, haven't they? They did Flashpoint.
No, they did Flashpoint and then they fixed it in 45 minutes.
Exactly. There you
It was
go.
pointless. It was literally the stupidest thing in the world. I actually hate that.
Well, that's
I
what-
really hate that in a Flash TV show.
Well, that's what everything is like. They can't touch properties properly because I think with the CW, it's like a testing ground for to see if people like characters.
Yeah.
And then if those characters are like popular enough, they'll just bring them into the movies and have them killed off or just disappear from the shows. So I think they added like Deathstroke to the shows and then just immediately got rid of him so that they could bring him into the movie.
But they never really did anything with it. Actually, I think, how would you feel like about a Deathstroke TV show or film?
You need Batman in it, or at least some challenging villain to like combat it. Because I don't like the anti-hero trend that everyone's getting. They're like, oh, this anti-hero is getting their own thing. We're getting Joker. We might be getting a Penguin
Joker isn't
TV
anti-hero. Joker's just a villain.
Yeah, I know, but like the appeal that it's like take the villain and give them the tragic backstory and make them like human. Like the Joker shouldn't be appearing human. The Joker is so unhuman that it's scary. Like making the
yes, that
Joker,
is the point of the Joker. It's supposed to be someone who's
Yeah.
completely unhinged, and he
you're
almost the
not
exact
meant to
opposite
like
of a
the
human.
Joker. You can like the Joker because they're evil, but you're not meant to like the Joker like in any sense of the word. You can like that he's a bad guy because having an interesting villain who challenges the hero is the interesting dynamic. That's why Homelander's such a good villain, because it challenges everything that the heroes believe. There's genuine reason why people hate him and all of that. It's why the Joker and Batman are so opposed, because their ideologies clash. And that's what makes it interesting. Just having the villain on their own doesn't do anything. It's an annoying thing. Because it's just like, here's the one ideology. There's nothing butting up against it.
Have we
It's
actually
just-
seen
it's-
Deathstroke in a Batman property yet?
Yeah,
Not including Justice
Justice
League.
League. No. He's in the games.
I know, yeah, I'm thinking. Maybe that's what Matt Reeves' next villain should be. Maybe we should do Deathstroke. I mean, forget
That'd be
Joker, please. I know
interesting.
we talked about this, but
Yeah, we don't want Joker. Deathstroke would be interesting, because I think Deathstroke's like one of the matches for Batman in terms of just tactics and everything like that.
yeah.
Also, he looks cool. He's
I-
basically just like an assassin. So you got to
Yeah.
They would make great fight sequences. That's about it. I'm not sure about the ideology of Deathstroke, because he's more become a Teen Titans villain at this point, I think. Because I know he's like in that Teen Titans Go movie or whatever. He's always the bad guy.
I think he actually
Just-
is an official villain of... Thing is, Deathstroke goes around. He seems to be just a villain of everybody.
Well, yeah, he's a mercenary, so he's just hired to kill it. I think he's killed Superman at some stage.
Wasn't that Bloodsport?
Well, no, they said that in the movie. I don't think Bloodsport's ever done anything in the comics, but I think most people have been able to kill Superman or like damage Superman at this point.
yeah.
Also, I don't think he killed Superman. I think he crippled Superman with a kryptonite bullet.
He put me in ICU, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to
'Cause
some
if they-
other streaming news, where Netflix is allegedly definitely getting ads.
Yep. So you're going to pay for a subscription service, a low tier one, and then you're going to get ads.
So does this
Yeah.
mean...
I think Disney's doing this as well.
Yeah, but I think they're just going to keep... So the one you're currently paying for will be fine, but they're going to make a lower tier one. To have
Yeah,
ads,
they're
right?
making a lower tier where you still get ads.
I think
But you
this
still
is
pay
to
for it.
help with the cost of living situation, where instead of...
No, this is because Netflix is losing money and they have gone, there's a whole audience of people who don't care about ads and just want to watch Netflix. So they'll pay for Netflix, but they don't want to pay this much. Also, there was an article that came out recently that was like, hey, youth, the reason why you can't afford housing is because you're paying for Netflix and coffee. And it was like, no, it's because the housing market is so high and no one has an affordable income.
Yes, I would say it's more because I can't afford a house, I'm paying for Netflix and coffee.
To distract myself from all this horrible situation
Yes,
where I'll never
honestly,
be able
just
to own anything.
playing video games and paying for these things is what puts me just out
Because
of
no
misery.
matter how much I save, I can't afford it.
If I saved
I could put all my money
money
for all my life.
I would
Yeah.
still need about 10 years to buy a house.
Even longer. Like,
Well, no, that's to
Unless
get
you
a
put every
get a
single-
mortgage, right?
yeah, if you could put every single thing you owned into like without paying anything for like 10 years, you still probably would only just be able to get a mortgage.
Well, I need to save 100 grand to get a house.
Yeah.
And that's like without even doing any interior design or anything.
That's also a bare minimum house.
A bare minimum, no interior design. So, yeah, the reason I can't afford it, definitely to do on Netflix. Definitely.
Yep.
Not the
'cause-
housing market's ridiculously stupid for no reason.
Fuel pricing, expenses, all of that.
Yeah, it's not
Currently
those
in a-
reasons. No, it's only
Currently
Netflix.
economic recession.
Yeah, anyway, I got nothing wrong with this. If you want to have a lower tier of ads, I don't...
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I'll pay to get rid of ads no matter what. As long as they don't start creeping in on the higher tiered stuff, I'm fine with it.
Yes.
Like, there's no...
What would piss me off, though, is if they had the current tier filled with ads and then make you charge more to get rid of the ads.
Yeah.
That would piss
Well,
me
they
off.
might. Because to be honest, I don't know what their plans are. Because I don't know if they're adding a new tier, which is lower than their lowest tier, or if they're making their low tier one actually have ads. But they are definitely doing it. But they basically went, there's an opportunity because people don't mind paying for like having a lower tiered support system, but have ads on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a smart business decision from Netflix. Hopefully.
Well, I think Netflix is just trying to find any way to get revenue back.
Well, I don't want Netflix to collapse because I want to finish watching Arcane. I want to see season 2. It's the only reason.
Yeah.
I don't really care about anything else.
As long as like Amazon or Disney picks up Arcane, I'm happy for Netflix to crash. I mean, not crush, but
Yeah, I feel like Disney.
as long as it gets picked up.
I do
Amazon.
feel like Disney's actually better than Netflix now.
I think I tend to watch more Well, actually, no, I'll check because I think I can check how many. There's certainly more like interesting stuff on Netflix just for casual viewing. 1, 2, 6. Okay, Netflix has one more show, and that's only because I watched one more show today in the year.
Well, there you go.
I've watched 6 Disney Plus shows and 7 Netflix shows.
Fair
And,
enough.
like, 4 Amazon Prime shows. But the Amazon Prime ones seem to be doing much better in terms of like my enjoyment of them.
That's The Boys, to be honest with you. Probably is the best TV show so far of the year. Let's be honest.
Well, we have to wait to the end of the year for our wrap up.
We do.
We go through all the stuff we.
And talking about a wrap-up, Indiana Jones 5 will be John Williams' last movie, and maybe Harrison Ford's too, to wrap up the Indiana Jones saga.
Okay, because you said rapper, and I was very confused.
Oh,
John
sorry.
Williams is
Once
not
again,
a
I'm
rapper.
really struggling to talk today.
You were like, speaking of a rapper, I was like, wait, what? John Williams
I think I
is
just
not a rapper.
Condensed
John Williams is
wrap
one of the
up
most
into
famous
just wrap up.
musicians in the world.
I think it went wrap up and then rapper, and then yeah, it just
Yeah, no, I get where you came from. I'm just like making fun of you for fucking it up.
yeah. Thank you.
And confusing John Williams as a rapper.
Hey, what he does in his own time, his own business.
Yeah, he very well could be. I would love to hear John Williams rap on his next album. But yeah, no, this is an interesting development. Like, the guy is like one of the most famous composers in the world, has transcended most cinema with his scores. And yeah, it's a real shame that he might retire, because he basically went, because Harrison Ford basically said this might be his last movie that he does, and John Williams was basically asked what he thought about it and said, well, if Harrison Ford can do it, then I might do it. He's also 90 years old.
That's mental.
Yeah, but he did Star Wars, he did he did Raiders of the Indiana Jones stuff, he did Jurassic Park, he did E.T., he did Jaws, he did the Harry Potter franchise, he did Home Alone, he did Superman, he did...
Who do you think is the best musical composer for movies and TV shows?
It's a hard one, because, who does Christopher Nolan movies.
Hans Zimmer.
That's the one. He's very good. Michael Giacchino is doing really well recently.
Brian Tyler as well.
Don't know who that is. Brian Tyler, American composer. What has he done? John Rambo, Fast and Furious. Now You See Me. Now You See Me Too.
Danny Elfman as well.
Danny Elfman, yeah. For the Dark World. Oh, crazy. The Triple X franchise. Iron Man 3. Ooh.
Yeah, Brian Tyler. Yeah, he did. I don't know how you didn't know him. He's done some really big films as well.
Oh, he did the Chippendale movie. Power Rangers. I never really... Oh, he did The Mummy. Okay, he lost all credit. Okay, yeah. No, I think John Williams probably has the most famous scores.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I think Hans Zimmer probably comes in second just because of, like, the impact of the...
Which one's that film?
Inception.
Oh, Inception, okay.
And, like, all trailers from, like, the early 2000s where they all had in them because it was just a trend. But yeah, no, if he does end up retiring, I mean, fair play to the dude. He's got some of the most iconic scores in history.
Dude's clear.
Yeah.
You can retire easy.
And hopefully Indiana Jones' 5 is good, because otherwise, what a shit way to retire.
Oh, no, it definitely isn't going to be any good, let's be honest.
I don't know, it's directed by the guy who did Logan.
Maybe it's the way of killing off Indiana Jones.
Well, I think they're doing... Either his daughter is coming along for the next one, because I think it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like in the movie, and I think she's playing his daughter or something.
Really? Is Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
I think so.
So for the record, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the person who I wanted to play the Doctor.
Indiana Jones 5. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, yeah, she's in it. Mads Mikkelsen's in it. Antonio Banderas is it. Broden Hollowbrook.
Well, it may be good then.
He's cool. Yeah. Harrison Ford is nearly 80 years old. He's 79. And he hates movies. I think he loves Indiana Jones, so I think he's trying to retire this character like on a high note because the fourth one was bad.
Yeah, it also might be just to get the bad taste of Star Wars out of his mouth.
Well, no, he's happy he's dead in Star Wars. He
no, but he doesn't want that to be one of his last films.
Yeah, I imagine so, yeah. No, he did that movie with a dog that's on Disney or something.
When was Blade Runner come out? 2049?
2019?
Yeah, that's after Star Wars.
2017! Fuck, I still haven't watched that.
I haven't seen the first one.
It's on Amazon Prime, I think. Both of them are. I was going to watch them. But I think they're coming off in like a couple days, so you got to watch them quick.
I won't be watching them then. Anyway, I don't think I have much more to discuss on the movie news, so let's go on to The Internet Depresses Me, because there has been some really bad news coming out of America right now. So we're going to start off with the more confusing one, which is the US has now banned all products from a leading vaping company.
Juul.
Yes, and this is due to health concerns. Now, I
Yes.
don't know if you know this, but vaping...
Also, they're going to ban the rest of them, like all the other brands.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to ban all vaping products. Now, I don't know if you know this. Vaping is meant to be an alternative to smoking, and they're banning
Yes.
vaping because of health concerns, but they're not banning smoking.
Yes.
Why?
Because douchebags on the internet who vape in people's faces and do vape tricks.
It's probably that, and also maybe to do with the cigarette companies. Possibly.
Oh, yeah, no, they're probably pissed. But then again, I think most cigarette companies own a lot of the... Same way oil companies own a lot of the energy, like clean energy companies.
Yeah, they're just in the money, aren't they? Well, whatever's making
Yeah.
money at that time.
Yeah, they don't care about any of it. They just want what one brings in the more money. If the clean energy or the vaping brings in more energy, we'll just buy them up.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a bit weird, right? It doesn't really make sense.
Well, I think they're concerned because, like, just taking pure straight nicotine and, like, all the chemicals and stuff, and people just mixing, like, every flavor of everything into it, and they're just straight vaping it. Also, I think it's this concern over kids as well, because you have all these, like, fruity, minty, like, flavors and everything like that that's more appealing to a child than this thing tastes like a cigarette, and that's gross.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of The biggest turning point off for a cigarette is that it smells like absolute garbage and it tastes horrible, but it's because of the nicotine that you're taking it.
Also,
whereas
very
with a vape...
quickly, when you're on that note, the White House has unveiled plans to reduce nicotine in cigarettes.
Yay.
Which just means people are going to smoke more, to have more health concerns.
Yeah, because it's not the nicotine that's the bad bit. The nicotine is the addictive bit.
Yeah, so if you
It's
reduce
the tar
amount
and
of
everything.
if you reduce how addictive they are, it just means you're going to have to smoke more of them to get rid of that craving.
And there's going to be more tar in it.
Yeah. For goodness sake. Idiots.
Well, the American healthcare system and the governments don't care.
Yes, and while we're on about not caring, it seems that the US doesn't care about women's rights anymore, as they have now, the Supreme Court has overruled the Roe versus Wade ruling.
Yep. Which is fucked.
Yeah, which means 7 states have now banned abortions.
Although I think I think the Pentagon has basically stated that none of those are things that aren't legal yet. I think the Pentagon has stepped in and made it so that you can't actually, at the moment, ban anything. At least. I think that was something I saw earlier.
Yes, I think it's more likely to do with how the bill's worded. Also, it's old men as well.
Also, immediately after that, one of the people on the committee basically handed in a proposition to ban contraception and reverse gay marriage and trans stuff.
So yeah, that's what I was actually going to wonder.
After...
Are they going to ban all contraception now? Because that's essentially the same thing as an abortion, right? I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact
so the Pentagon is under pressure after the Supreme Court decision.
Honestly, you can't ban contraception.
Well, they're trying.
You can't.
But also,
do that.
like 2 days before all of this happened, they let an open carry law in like New York, so you can open carry guns like easier. And it's easier to like have a gun. So all these pro-lifer people are like, yeah, no, we're pro-life and we want this. And yeah, no, this is going to cause a lot of fucking shit. Because people focus on like if a woman gets raped and they get a baby from it and then it's that. They have also, if they're not healthy enough to have a baby, all the negative ones.
If the baby
but then
has
there's just
problems.
Yeah, but there's also just what if you don't want a kid? You could have a kid, but you don't want a kid. There's just the plain and simple, I just don't want children at this time in my life. And then it's just like, you've literally taken away someone's right to just choose. But I think someone because you see everyone's talking about it, so it's very hard to like pinpoint who said what and what was said where. But I was watching, I think, a news presenter in America who basically stated, look, I don't care if you're religious. I 100% support that you can believe in God. I don't. And you do not get to choose what I do with my stuff, just as long as I don't choose what you can do.
Yeah, so that is a very good argument. I do agree with that one.
Yeah. It's like, you can freely believe in God and practice religion, and you can not have abortions, but you do not take away someone else's right to do that. That is the issue. It is, you can not have an abortion. You haven't been having abortions.
It's so weird. I don't understand, why is it so backwards? Thankfully, it seems the UK does not agree with this. Even Boris Johnson, which is a complete nut in our country, at least he...
I don't think our country is even still that great, because I think I read recently that ours it's illegal, but only if it's a health concern.
To ban abortion, to not have an abortion.
Yeah, I think ours is just health concern.
It depends on the number of weeks.
Yeah,
I think it's like 24
but
weeks.
It's still not great. I don't think our one, but I think it's still a lot better.
Well, it's also...
I don't know. I'm not a... We're not women. We're not women, so we don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But we are more open for women to have this, and I don't think I have any say over what a woman's birth situation is. Like, I have no say, and no white man, any man should have any say over what a woman does to their body to like.
Yes, yes, I do agree with that. However, I want to just quickly touch upon the weeks number. And I know there's a lot of debate about this on when it should be done.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
And the issue is, if you kill a newborn child, it's classified as murder, right?
Yes.
So at what point does it classify as murder? At what point does an abortion become murder? That is the question.
Once it comes out.
Because that's the argument, as you can have like premature babies by like 3 months and they can still live. So I think the 24 weeks is to
Also,
do with
I
the heartbeat. So it starts beating its own heart.
I don't know. But I think the other thing is that if a baby dies prematurely inside the womb still, you have to get an abortion for that, but that will then ban that, so you have to then fully carry that dead child inside you until you can get it out, which is fucked.
That's so messed up.
I think it was what I was reading from people. The fact that... what was it? It's the fact that, like, God, there's so many things that's just wrong with it. Yeah, I can't remember. There's so many things with it that were just wrong.
Yeah,
and,
I was trying to look into it, but to be honest, I just found it very depressing.
Yeah, it's not a fun topic to read up on, but like people have to, because you've just basically cut off over half of the United States from having the equal rights.
It's so weird how this has happened, though. I don't quite understand. How?
Well, it was not a surprise, because they've been trying to do this for ages, and basically the Democratic Party just did nothing about it, because they were just like, oh no, they wouldn't. Because two of them lied basically about what their intentions were. I think Kavanaugh is one of them. I don't know American politics, and I don't know American like senators or whatever it is on the House committee of the. But I think 3 of them were appointed by Donald Trump whilst in presidency. So they got appointed, and basically the problem with it is it's like 7 people who get to decide the fates of everyone, and they cannot be swapped out or elected until they die. Because the only reason we got one person on the committee for whilst Donald Trump was there is because who was the really famous one who got like women's rights and stuff like that? Fuck. She was really famous.
Oh God, I think wait. No, I think of the other woman. I know about the suffragettes.
No. Maybe.
Anyone recently? Recent years?
Yeah, famous. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ah, yes, her. The woman who said, "Please don't let anyone replace me after I'm dead."
Potentially, I don't remember that, but yeah, she died, so they replaced her on the committee, and Donald Trump basically put in a very young, like 40 years old female that was very pro his legislation.
And pro-life as well.
Yeah. Basically, this was not a surprise to anyone. And then the 2 other people who were like, no, we're not going to do anything with this. We're not going to overturn it. Basically lied under oath and said, yeah, and then just turned around and voted against it.
Yeah. Although there is some unity coming out of this, including US businesses such as Disney, JP Morgan, and Meta have told their staff they will pay for flights to have an abortion.
A lot of other companies, Bungie is very fighting for this as well, like and Insomniac, and a lot of like gaming companies are doing it as well. They're all like coming out in support. I think Sony's doing it as well. Microsoft's doing it. Like a lot of companies are trying to do this, but then again, these companies are also going to be restricted as soon as any of those states ban it. So like, and also if they want to then fight against the regulations of just the Supreme Court. And I don't think those companies are going to do that, unfortunately. There's going to be a limit to what they can do unless they actually fight it politically. And a lot of companies have one facing opinion, and then in the back corners are just being taken from the upper side. Like Disney is very pro LGBTQ, but then will cut out LGBTQ stuff from their movies, TV shows, depending on where their market lies in that debate. So whilst the topic is high...
To keep it depressing, more than 20 states are making moves to limit abortions.
I think Alabama immediately put in place, you can't have abortions.
Yeah, so states likely to have the new legislation, so I think these are the ones that haven't currently banned it, is Arkansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Texas, Idaho, Missouri, South Dakota, Utah, Kentucky, North Dakota, Tennessee, Wyoming, Louisiana, and other states are Alabama, Arizona, Florida, and Wisconsin.
Yeah, also, that was what I was going to say. This won't stop abortions. This will just stop safe abortions.
Yes, people will just... it's just going to cause so many more problems. I don't understand how... It's just depressing, isn't it? Why isn't Joe Biden doing anything about this?
Because I think he was also one of the people on a committee that was trying to like ban it at one stage.
Well, Camilla, I don't know. I suppose maybe there are some
Like,
women
it's a
out of her
fuck-
life, right? That is true.
Yeah, I know Alexandria Cortez or whatever her name is, like the really vocal, like young, U.S. politician. She's very active at the moment, trying to like rally people, but they can only do so much. Joe Biden's just kind of like one of those people who's like a puppet. He doesn't really do
He just
anything.
seems useless. Right, I don't want to play politics too much, but I just want to.
No.
It's just kind of funny how messed up the country's been since he's been in charge.
Yeah.
Since he's been
not
in
a good
charge, the Taliban have taken over Afghanistan. Russia's invaded Ukraine.
That's not his fault. But Donald Trump did start
the
that. He
Afghanistan
just
one,
couldn't
maybe, because he did. He was
Yeah.
the one who pulled out all the troops, which
Yeah,
wasn't.
no, I'm not saying he's good. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
It's just
a lot
quite
of this
funny
is
though,
Donald
right?
Trump's fault because
Yeah.
a lot of this is his decision making coming back, and then Joe Biden having to undo it all.
It is quite.
And
funny
Joe Biden
though,
just
right?
isn't undoing any of it.
Yeah. It's just sort of like it's all come out under his tenure in like the first year of him being in charge. Oh, and
Yeah.
and abortions.
But
of
it
course.
was all Donald Trump's setup. Donald Trump set it all up. Joe Biden just hit all the dominoes down. It's like I'm not defending either of them. They're both fucked individuals, and American politics is such a shit state where those were the only two options. It's the same with Hillary or Donald Trump. If your fucking party can't get an actual decent person to the top to actually fight against this, then what are you even doing?
So Joe Biden is against abortions. Sorry, I got it wrong. Joe Biden is against the anti-abortion laws.
Yeah, but he's also not doing much
But he's
to
just not
stop
doing
it.
anything to stop it.
Yeah,
And he's the president who's supposed to have the most power, and he can't
Yeah.
do anything.
well, he's not trying to.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
Why is he? But surely the president has that much power. Donald Trump showed he had that much power.
yeah.
But Biden doesn't do anything to stop it.
Biden could just turn around and say no, but he's not. Because he's scared. Like, they're all just puppets. They're not anything useful. They're just a figurehead. Like, they all have their beliefs behind the doors, and they only say what they want to show people. It is a problem.
God, he is awful. Just doing
Also, I think Obama came out and was like, no, I'm really against this. And then people pointed out that he could have codified it and made it like impossible to get rid of. And then he was just like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Because it was like one of his policies when he was trying to get into presidency. And then he immediately just never did it in the 8 years that he was there.
I feel like that's just a very politician thing to do.
Yeah.
I just find it messed
there's
up
no-
how America's got worse politicians than we do.
Yeah.
That's
it's a
impressive.
fuck situation. Yeah. Well, let's get into gaming, Dan. Because...
Yes, alright, so let's go into We've Lost a Controller of the Newser. And there's some interesting news with Overwatch. Now, there is the anticipated sequel due to be released. And supposedly, the sequel will replace the original game at launch.
Yeah, so you won't be able to play the original game anymore.
Yes, although the sequel is
All
free
your
to play.
stuff will be able... Yeah. But all your stuff will transfer over as well, I think, is what they said.
I imagine this is due to server type issues.
Oh, no, it still seems fucked to, like, take away the people's choice of playing which game they want to play.
I imagine they'll just migrate it. It's just going to be migrated into the sequel.
Yeah, but what's the point in the sequel then? Because I think
Well, the
I've
sequel
heard
has a
that the
campaign.
sequel... Yeah, but I've heard that the second one is basically just the first one again.
It probably
But
is.
now it has a
It probably actually is. The sequel probably is the first one.
Well, from what
The
I've
highest
seen from
multiplayer.
people who've played the beta, it's just the game again. It's not got any graphical improvements. It's just the game again, but slightly simplified so that they can maybe appeal to more people. And now it's got a campaign. And it's probably laden with microtransactions and garbage like that because it's under Blizzard.
That is true, because, Activision Blizzard is still one of the worst companies to ever exist. Activision Blizzard do anything for the abortion rights?
I didn't see anything.
Probably not. Why would they be?
Well, they're still technically under Bobby Kotick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, apparently he might be staying. So that's interesting. But yeah, no, you've played Overwatch 1, right?
I did.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, I actually did enjoy it. Although,
Because I never enjoyed it when I played it. Like, every time it came for free for like a free weekend, it was just such a sweaty game, and I don't like sweaty games.
I enjoyed it when there wasn't sweaty people, and
Well,
it was just casual.
I never got to play it casual because it was just always sweaty.
Yeah, I think
And it wasn't fun, and I never liked any of the... I liked the shorts. The animated shorts they did, that was the only thing I liked about Overwatch. It was like, they were actually well-done animations, and they actually had interesting stories, and the characters were interesting, but, like, I never wanted to play the game.
Oh, there you go.
Like, I imagine
Bobby
that's
Kotick
what the...
has donated thousands to anti-abortion.
Well, there you go.
That says everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. And he's probably had abortions, because he's probably fathered a shit ton of kids, like, under... like all the molestation and stuff like that he did. So, hey, look, what a cunt.
Yeah, that was depressing. So yeah, Overwatch 2.
I told you this episode was going to be depressing. It's not a fun week.
Okay, let's go to some other news, which is Epic Store has now rolled out random game ratings and polls.
Yeah, so this is trying to combat like review bombing. So they're not going to have like a permanent review system. They're just going to get like random every now and again. Once you've played like a certain hour of gaming or stuff like that, it will give you the option to review it, or it will give you like poll questions. And so it'll just implement different like rating systems after certain hours and stuff, just to make sure people are actually playing the game.
Yeah, so you have to play
rather
it
than
for
just immediately
a period of time and then...
Yeah. Rather than just immediately review bombing again because I don't like it because it's got a woman as the main lead or something like that.
I actually did see a poll recently, which was why has Disney's Lightyear not done well?
Well, I don't think they marketed it very well.
That's probably true, and there's multiple options, and the two that pointed out to me was one, which is the one I agreed with, which is no one really wanted this.
No.
But the second most chosen option was because there's a lesbian scene.
I've seen that kiss, and it is literally the same as the Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker kiss, where it's just, they purposely made it so that it can be cut. It is literally a second, and then you have framed it so that immediately after, like, if you watched it, you could, because it's two characters walking towards, it's a character walking into a room, and then they have an embrace, and then they're walking again. So if you wanted to, all you have to do is cut out the kiss and then immediately have them walking towards in the same direction without any disruption to the flow.
Yeah, so apparently people are hating on this. I don't know really know why.
Yeah, it's a kiss and it's a kiss hug. So all you do is cut out the kiss and you still get the hug, and then you can just have them walk away.
So would that make sense why it's not doing well in the cinema?
No. I just don't think people... my thing is, I just don't think people care. Because I think
some people do. Some people actually seem to really care about these things now.
Well, that's because people
are idiots.
Blow it out of proportion. Well, yeah, people blow it out of proportion, and then the internet, the news media basically pushes it further because they're like, one person on Twitter goes, I didn't like it because of this. And then the news media goes, oh, that's clickbait. We'll push this. And then every angry virgin male goes, oh, lesbians. And then
I thought they would have enjoyed it.
Well, it's not graphic. That's the issue. It's affectionate. It's not graphical. Like, they want hardcore lesbian. They don't want just oh, that's a sweet moment. They just want hardcore.
I feel like all these things are connected somehow.
Yeah. It's a fucked... Look, I honestly could go into the psychology of it all and like how certain things, like, if you look at it from a logical and statistical viewpoint, you can actually basically predetermine how everything is like all linked together. But that's a long ass fucking topic to discuss. And maybe we'll do a TBO. Maybe one day I'll explain how everything fucks everything up. That could be interesting.
But on the list, we're doing a few weeks.
Maybe. It's a very depressing topic.
Sure. Why not? Let's go for it. Depressing seems to get a lot of clicks. And I don't know if this is depressing or not, but we'll go for it anyway. Diablo Immortal has earned almost 20 million in just 2 weeks. So
Diablo Immortal is the game that is mobile. Basically Blizzard announced a new Diablo game years ago, like 2017, I think it was announced. And Diablo is like a very hardcore, like, communicative gamers, and it's always been on PC. And so when they found out that it was mobile only, people were like, is this a joke? What the fuck? We hate this. And the development team was like, why are you upset? Don't you have a mobile phone? And everyone was... because mobile market is very like stripped back and it's not as complicated and it's a very simple system. And so the game never released until like this year, and it's now on mobile and PC, but it's just a port of the mobile version. So it's still just tap buttons rather than the like layout of the original games and stuff like that. And it's the game that I think costs like $90,000 or something like that to get every item in the game. And also, I think recently a streamer spent, because there's in-game currency or stuff to like upgrade stuff, and there's loot boxes to get that. So I think someone was trying to test how much you had to spend to get one of those items.
Yeah.
And I think they spent over 25,000 like euros or something like that trying to get this one item, and then immediately quit the game and like said I'm never going back because of how much money they had to spend to get one fucking thing of currency in the game. So I imagine that percentage is tied into this 20 million that they made. But that's also very low numbers for a mobile game, because it's not doing very well. Yeah, because in 2 weeks, that's like a game's profit in like a day.
That's still a lot more than most AAA games on PC or console.
Yeah, but mobile games are predatory for like microtransactions and stuff like that.
I suppose
like,
Pokemon Go and...
Yeah. Bejeweled.
What else is there? Clash of Clans.
The Sims. Any EA game on there, like the FIFA games.
Microtransactions, people make a free game and then charge people a hell of a lot of money with loot boxes. Profit.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fucked thing. Where is it? Top charts. Pocket Monster Rush is the top game of the App Store. Rope and Ball, Guess the Drawing, Double Money, Match Masters, Fill the Fridge, Bloodline Heroes of Lifus, Subway Surfers, Like a Pizza, Bucket Crushers are the top 10 games on the App Store. Never heard of them, never gonna play them. But I imagine they all have microtransactions. And they're all free. But yeah, so it's only, because I think only 8,000 downloads is the number of downloads that game has.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a very popular game, Dan. But from 8,000 people, they made 20 million in 2 weeks. But you would the Blizzard community would probably spend a lot more if it was a good game. Because Blizzard people love to spend, like Diablo people love to spend money on stuff. It's just relatively low numbers for a game that could have made a lot of money in that time. Because like I imagine like that is quite low. It's still a lot of money, but it is low for a mobile game that could potentially have a big audience. Speaking of games with big audiences, Dan.
Yes, Destiny 2, as Bungie has sued the man who issued fake Destiny 2 DMCA takedowns for $7.6 million.
Destiny is going hard after people who are trying to fuck over the community.
Well, they are trying to pay for those next expansions.
Well, no, they're also trying to...
Lightfall's going to be very good after all this money.
Well, you'd hope. As long as they bring up my jumping ability and drop down ability, I'm fine.
Now you're done. That's something new now.
No, I don't want to. But yeah, so basically a man was DMCA takedown by Bungie because they were not using their like stuff legally. And Bungie is very like, you can play our game and use our stuff to make content. We will let you do that. We want you to promote our game this way. They're not like Nintendo, who like DMCA's takedown for even showing like Mario's face or whatever it is. And so this guy went, right, I'll take the email address that they sent me, because they're trying to also fight how YouTube actually issues DMCA takedowns. Because the way that it works essentially is you have to have a Gmail account for you to be able to send DMCA takedowns. So it can't be an official company email. It has to be a Gmail account. So if you want to send a DMCA takedown, you have to have a Gmail account to do it. So people just make fake Gmail accounts that have the similar email structure as what the official company has, which is what this guy did. And then they send those emails to the people, and then people think that it's real because it looks very similar to what the official one is. And then I think people were complaining at Bungie because saying that they weren't doing these DMCA takedowns, but it clearly looked like they were. And so people were very upset. And now Bungie is suing this guy for 7.6 million, and also trying to like get YouTube to change how its fucking takedown policy is, because it's so fucked. Like people get like it's rampant with people just scamming people out of money because they're like, because the issue is that for a YouTuber, if they get a DMCA takedown, they have very little way of fighting it, because what happens is if they go to court, they have to pay for all the legal fees themselves, and they have to do all of this. Whereas a company has all of the fucking backing of the company. They can just throw money at this and just go, well, we'll take this person down. I think only a couple YouTubers have actually ever gone to court over like DMCA takedowns, and I think they've won every time. But the legal process, they've had to get like all of their fans to like pay for it, like through like crowdfunding and stuff like that. And even then, they don't make any money off of it. They're just saving themselves the money that they would have lost if they'd done it. So yeah, it's a fucked thing.
Very quickly before we move on, I just have a simple question to ask. What the hell are you doing with your phone right now?
I don't know. Why? This thing?
I've just been watching you fiddle with your phone on your shoulder for the past couple minutes. Just start spinning it on your shoulder, and I was so confused.
I'm a fidgeter. I can't sit still. I bought a fidget cube and I don't know where it is. I think it's downstairs. But I'm trying to not hit the microphone, because otherwise that would be the thing I'm playing with. So I'm holding onto my phone and I'm just doing this. No one can see that.
Well, let's go on to our final bit of gaming news, which is Sony is reportedly discontinuing their PS Plus retail cards. Now, this is out of their new PS Plus Extra and Premium services that have come into play.
Which we have both got now.
Yes, Danny has the Premium, I have the Extra, because I don't see the benefit of Premium right now.
I'm just like, fuck it. I'll go for it, and if I ever play it, I'll play it. If I don't play it, then I won't play it.
Yes, and I think we're both pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing because the games are really they're all over the place and stuff. I think we've both downloaded Miles Morales and the original Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. I also downloaded Ghost of Tsushima because I wanted to play that.
I also downloaded Death Stranding.
Yeah, I'm not fussed about that. There's a lot of indies that I want to download as well.
I don't know much about Death Stranding. I just know it's like quite highly regarded.
Yeah. If you like ads, Dan, you'll love the game.
Oh, really? It's full of ads,
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. For Norman Reedus' TV show that he does. And Mountain Dew and a lot of other things.
Well, I was going to give it a go because they've got the PS5 Director's Cut available on the...
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying it's also just a game where you run around delivering parcels.
Really?
Yeah, that is the premise of the game, but there's a fucked storyline around it.
Okay.
You're a guy who runs across like flat land and like hills and shit trying to deliver parcels, and if they fall off you have to go around picking them all up and then putting them back on your back and then running towards the thing, but then you can get attacked by ghosts and you have to carry a baby, and it's a weird game.
Well, I want to give it a go. I want to give it a go one day. But yes, I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah. I've heard it's kind of a slow game. I think you might like it, but
yes. Anyway, yes,
it's
so
a
it makes
very
sense
niche market.
For PS Plus to get rid of these retail cards now, as it doesn't seem to offer a benefit.
Well, it's not the same service anymore, so
yeah.
I wonder if they'd honor if like people buy them. Would they actually honor them?
Well, yeah,
like the ones that are still in existence.
PS Plus Essential.
Yeah, I imagine that the codes will still work if you try and type them in, but it would just give you the basic PlayStation Plus membership, and then I don't know how a PlayStation Now card would work.
That's true, because PS Now no longer exists.
Yeah, it's also cheaper as well. So maybe that's a
Who
workaround
knows?
for people to get cheap PlayStation Plus.
Yes, and apparently that PS Plus Extra and Premium have much more games than they originally offered.
Yeah, which is good. I think it's only by like a couple, like 10 plus games.
Yeah.
Like not many, but still. And that's only going to get bigger if Sony ever adds to it. Like it's a wide selection. Like there's a lot of good games on it. I wanted to get Demon Souls.
Yes, I also
fun.
downloaded that game because that is a very expensive game.
Yeah.
It's like 65 quid.
I'm also going to get Stray when it comes out, that cat game. That looks fun as hell.
Is that going on to the service, is it?
I think it's going on to the premium one, so that's the reason I got the premium. or the premium extra. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had issues trying to sign up to it because I was trying to do it on a web browser, but it wouldn't load past the adding your payment system. But then I just went on my PlayStation and went, fuck it, I'll just do it through that, and it worked fine. So it was a weird thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's go on.
I'm liking it. We'll get on to what we've been playing later.
Let's go on to the Weird, Wacky, Wonderful, where giant 9,000 person cruise ship is sent to a scrap heap.
Before it ever sets sail.
Yes, I don't know why the hyphen put me off.
You're scared of a hyphen? You must hate Spider-Man.
Honestly, it gives me nightmares.
You must always say spider and then never elaborate on it.
Yeah, that's true. I say I'm playing Spider.
Just good old Spider.
Yeah. Look out, everyone. Here comes Spider. Anyway, yes. So, it's called the Global Dream 2, and it was designed to be sort of entirely extravagant, and apparently it never set sail.
Yeah, it basically filed for bankruptcy at the start of the year. The Genting Hong was owned by Genting Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's also unfinished in the same dock, but time is running out to find a buyer for the pair, as the shipyard is going to make only submarines from 2024. So they're not making ships anymore, they're only making submarines.
I would have thought another cruise company would have bought it out.
Maybe. It's a fun story to just see. Oh yeah, this entire massive ship that we spent all this money on, it's just getting wasted.
Yeah, I mean the ship looks massive.
It also is brightly colored and has like loads of fun artwork.
Yeah,
including a multicolored astronaut flying using a jetpack with a rocket ship behind him.
As much cruise ships are terrible for the environment, the engineering I find fascinating. Like the amount of just stuff that goes beyond like inside.
Also, the old people orgies on them are great.
Honestly, yeah, you get great views inside the ship.
Also, they all have fucking morgues on them because old people go on cruise. Yeah. Well, so the fun thing about cruise ships is old people go on them to die, essentially.
I think that's entirely true.
Well, a lot of them go because they want to experience life in their old age, and this is the easiest way because all they have to do is be on a boat and they can do things and travel the world. And so a lot of people die on cruise ships, and then they have to hold them somewhere until they get to port. So there's graveyards there's like morgues on cruise ships so that they can hold all the dead bodies of old people who have died because they've just died of old age. Also, the cabin, like the food's always bad because like it's hard to prepare in a like environment. So there's always diarrhea and horrible conditions. And if a cruise ship's plumbing breaks, then it just smells of diarrhea and vomit. And
yeah, well, to be honest, the plumbing on cruise ships are quite weird anyway because all the toilets they're all vacuum.
Yeah, because they don't go out into the ocean, do they?
No, it goes into a cesspit. It's not allowed to go in the ocean.
So that if the cesspit overflows because there's an outbreak of diarrhea, then it all starts smelling.
No, to be fair, there's a lot of health restrictions on cruise ships. Like, if you get like diarrhea, they lock you in your cabin.
Yeah, but there's like been outbreaks of diarrhea and things. And
yes, I think they can't. The norovirus was an outbreak, and they basically shut down the whole cruise ship for a week. Your holiday was nothing.
Meh.
Although I think the staff did give room service to everyone, and they did actually.
Which made it worse, because it still had the fucking horrible... Nah, I'm joking.
No, to be fair, I think the food on cruise ships, at least the ones I've been on, have been very well prepared. And
I've never been... I don't think I've ever been on a cruise ship. I've certainly done, like, ferries. I've never done a cruise ship, I don't think.
To be fair, they are pretty fun. I can't really deny it. Yes,
I'm not saying they're not fun, but I think they'd be more fun if it wasn't old people on them. Yeah,
probably. It depends what you want on a holiday. It depends if you prefer nightlife or day life.
Yeah.
It can be...
I'm fine.
It depends if you get bored very quickly. If you sort of see one location you get bored within a couple of days, then it may be worth doing.
Also, if you have sea legs.
Honestly, you don't feel it. You don't feel it on a cruise ship. No, you really don't.
I'm sure someone out there does.
Well, it depends on the ocean, technically.
Yeah.
If you go across the Atlantic or if you go to the North Sea, you're definitely going to feel it.
I'm going to go on a cruise ship through the Bermuda Triangle and hope that I don't come back out.
If you go on a cruise in the Mediterranean, you won't feel it. Unless you go, I think it's Barcelona to Mallorca, then that's when you do feel it. But any other parts of the Mediterranean in the summer, it's so mild, you don't feel anything. It's because how big it is. The bigger the boat, the less you feel it.
Unless it's big old waves.
No, big old waves just means it's going to crash and rip apart.
Yeah. Or icebergs.
Or icebergs, yeah. It's funny. On a massive boat, you don't feel it, but it's more likely to rip apart. Yes, anyway, cruise ships are a massive, ginormous piece of tech, so let's go on to tech time and science shenanigans. Where, in dystopian tech, Amazon's latest trick, a pipe in a dead person's voice.
No, they're going to pipe in a dead person's voice. Not put a pipe in a dead person's voice. I know you love adding words to the titles, Dan.
I don't think I added any words. I think that's just how I said it.
You did. You put a. You put a pipe.
What, is it not a pipe in someone's dead voice?
No, it's pipe in a dead person's voice. But yeah, so basically, because everyone knows Alexa basically listens to everything everyone says, Amazon's basically gone, hey, look, we have all of this usable data of the people's voices. So if you have a dead relative, you can turn on our feature. This isn't a feature that's available yet, by the way. This is something they're toying with. Where if you want to help grieve, which I don't think this will do, this will make you hold on to the loss for longer.
Yeah.
You can play your dead grandma's voice back to you. Because apparently Amazon's AI is so advanced that it can take like the smallest dialogue that someone says and then turn it into an actual realistic playback of like them saying other lines. It's not like they're playing back voice clips. They're getting artificial intelligence to then make your dead grandma say stuff like, I love you, or hey, how's your day been? And stuff like that. They're not playing back clips. They're getting artificial intelligence to mimic what your dead relatives sound like.
Yeah, I mean, this seems quite disturbing. I don't know who would want this.
Like, I get grieving. Like, my grandfather died in 2020. Not from COVID, through the other big C. And, like, it's hard. But, like, you do have to not move on, but, like, accept it.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like this would just hold people back from acceptance. Like, they'd be stuck in the denial stage.
I might have some people. I think people move on different ways.
I don't think it would, though.
But it seems a bit of a weird thing to invest into.
It's a fucked thing to do as well, because it's just like, oh yeah, no, we're stealing all your data and your voicing and everything like that. No, let's turn it into a feature for your dead relatives. You want that, don't you? That's acceptable. You don't care that we've been secretly listening to everything you've said for the last however many years you've had us. We're just going to use this as an opportunity to market us as a better product.
Would they be allowed to charge for that?
No. I imagine you could sue if they did.
Yeah, because because that voice imprint isn't technically theirs, it's the person who died.
I don't think they'd be able to sell it. I think it would just be an Amazon skill that would be like, hey, look, we get to sift through all your data to determine which voice was which, and you have an individual profile of which voice you want to listen back to. But I also imagine this would be fucked because people would just use it as an excuse to would fucking use it to like get like people from the like other family members just to say stuff.
Yes,
so you
and
have,
it may be used for other uses, 18+ uses.
Yeah, like just get.
It's just going to say, can you say this to me? And then just read a whole paragraph. And then it will just repeat the whole paragraph back to you while they're just jacking off in a corner.
Yeah.
Just be completely disturbing. Yeah, it's a weird one. It is a weird one.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yes. And talking about something else that's quite weird is there is now a micro SD card that has 1.5 terabytes in size.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, which is that's actually incredible.
It's impressive, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy to me just to think that because I suppose we're lucky in a way where we were brought up on sort of the last generation of the old consoles, which is like the PS1s, PS2s, where still had cartridges. Like you used to have a memory cartridge.
And it was only 8 megs.
There's 8 megabyte and it was fat.
Yeah.
I've still got them in my drawer. And now you have a 1.5 terabyte one that's smaller than that.
And you can put it in your phone.
Although I don't think any phone would accept 1.5 terabytes.
Samsungs do.
I thought they just accept 500 gigabyte.
No, you can accept terabyte. There's a terabyte SD card, and you can get Samsungs that accept it. I think they just have to be the more expensive ones.
Maybe.
I think. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, that is.
I have seen them accept them.
But it is the way the industry's going, you know? Eventually, but that'd be the same for batteries. Computer chips already there.
Eventually, hard drives will be much, much bigger. like storage.
Yeah.
20 terabytes in the size of a mild brick.
I would highly recommend anybody just to check out the comparison of sizes between like the last generations of consoles and now, just to compare sort of the power difference.
Yeah.
It is fascinating.
Also compare dick sizes, because that's always fun.
I'd rather not. I don't want to tell you all about my huge 2-incher.
Well, you're not. What's the guy from The Boys? What was his name?
Oh.
The guy with the dick that grows.
Yeah. Termite.
Because he got a name. He got a name in this the last episode. I can't remember what it is.
Termite.
No, that's not. No, that's not the guy. That's the guy who shrinks down into it.
Oh.
I'm talking about the guy whose dick grows.
Oh. No, talk about now.
Because he odds the door.
Oh, love sausage, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the nickname. Yeah.
So I love sausage or something.
But yeah.
On that note,
That's.
let's go on to recommend, do, recommend, don't. What have you done this week that you'd recommend?
I watched Spiderhead, which is the Chris Hemsworth, like, is in charge of a prison and mysterious and fucked up things happen. It's alright. I love Chris Hemsworth in a villain role. Because he's a very fucking good, talented actor, and he can do psychotic prison owner who's like a tech billionaire, but has like unhinged personality about him. But he's so charming that you like him. Very, very well. He's got the same facial tics as like Anthony Starr from The Boys, who does Homelander, where like the facial expressions sell every fucking word that this guy says, and you're just like blown away by how well they can sell a role, and like you don't see them as anything other than that role. And then I've also been playing Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man PS4 version.
Yeah.
And I've gotten up to just beating the Kingpin and then running around the city a bit.
Oh, so you've literally just started it?
Yeah, I did like an hour.
Yeah.
I haven't really done anything more than an hour. I did some of the backpacks and getting them, and then I'm one of those people who can't have shit on the map, so I have to go and do everything before I continue. So
well, luckily with Spider-Man,
I imagine I'm going to be stuck doing that if I ever play it.
Do you know what? I was one crime scene away from 100% completing that game. I'm being serious. It's one crime scene, but I was like, I'll do that another day, and I never finished it. And when I say 100% completing, I mean 100% all the trophies as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
sounds fun.
I just need to go back and play it one day on my PS4 or something.
Well, you now have a PS5, and you have.
I don't think the
access to it.
progress cost saves over. I haven't checked.
Does.
But
And
I
if
don't
you're playing
think
the
it
same
does.
version on the same account,
Maybe it will. I don't know. Hopefully it does. If I can download it, I will. But talk about Spider-Man. I've actually been playing the Miles Morales one,
yes.
which you can definitely tell the performance increase from the PS5 to the PS5 from the PS4. The fact there's just no loading screens is fantastic. I don't think I've ever experienced a game where there's absolutely no loading screens at all. Even Destiny, you have loading.
It's a lot better though.
It's a lot better, but you're still there. But honestly, Miles Morales, it's so cool just to go... Because there's scenes in the Spider-Man game, you'll find it, when you enter a building, you go through a doorway or something, and you have a loading screen, and then you go into that doorway. This is just seamless.
Well,
It's completely seamless.
Because the PS5 version doesn't exist on the PlayStation Store, so it's just the PS4 version that I'm playing on the PS5. And there's still loading screens, but they're like 2 seconds. They're not long.
Yeah.
They're like 2 to 5 seconds long, so they're not bad. But are they just instantaneous with the Miles Morales?
It's you can't tell.
Well, that's good.
It's entirely seamless. That's what I mean. Like there's nothing. There is absolutely nothing. And
It's good.
it's also got that sort of the ray tracing as well, which is a nice added feature of when it's like I got to the point where it's at night and we swing through at night. And do you know, I don't know if you've seen it, the Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo.
Yeah, I played that, yeah.
Where you can see into all the buildings are lit up. And it's like that. So every single room is like, it looks different to an extent. I know they do repeat it every now and then. But it looks just so much more life into it.
Yeah.
I have noticed some performance restraints.
Trickery.
No, I say, but just performance restraints in general. As I said previously, you can't do 4K 60 FPS with ray tracing. It's just not a thing you can do on consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it. You do one thing on the other. So I had mine enabled at 60 FPS ray tracing with upscaling. Because to be honest, I can't see 4K on my TV anyway.
No.
Really.
I've got an 8K TV and I don't notice any difference really, except the picture looks slightly nicer.
Yeah.
But then I'm not, like, with Spider-Man, like, I'm like, this is a very pretty game. And then I don't, because I'm swinging through a city, I'm not paying much attention to all the buildings and stuff. And if I looked really closely, I'm sure I could find issue. But
yes, so yeah, anything I want to bring up, sort of, I think the biggest difference is when you have those life scenes. Normally when you have the big skyscrapers, it's just flat, there's nothing really to it, or it's just got stock images inside it. This has actually got life to it, which is really nice to see.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure if I was looking at my...
it does look, it looks amazing, and I can definitely tell performance increase. In terms of the first Spider-Man, I think the first one has a lot better story.
Well, I know what the story is, so you're not going to spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it anyway, because people might not have played it yet. But I think, the first story is a lot more emotional to it. Whereas I think this story, I still enjoy it, to be honest with you, because the first one I knew what was going to happen, the second one I don't really know what's going to happen. Because I don't know much about Miles Morales, to be honest with you.
Except what the Spider-Verse movie told.
Except from that one, yeah. Yeah, so I would say the second one is just a refined version of the first game, which makes sense because I'm pretty sure they did the exact same city.
Yeah.
They just retextured things.
They just made a different story.
Yeah, and because I think it was like a year apart between games, was it not? Something like that?
Yeah.
So you can't remake the whole city in that game. I think they are remaking something for Spider-Man 2, though.
Yeah, because they're doing Venom and stuff like that, and they're doing a complete...
Yes, I am looking forward to that one. That's going to be cool. And
I'm looking forward to the Wolverine game.
Yes, same. And what I've watched on TV, I've just continued with Peacemaker. It is very enjoyable. I don't think it is the best thing DC's done. I still think the Batman is better. I know technically I can't really judge a TV show and a film, but I would say the Batman is better. But I think that sums up everything this week. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. Share with anybody, as it does help the podcast channel out. Check out our Twitter for something. I don't know what. Maybe I'll do something on there, even though it's a toxic cesspool of stuff. And check out our last TBO of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know what our TBO this week is. What is it?
Let me find out. I think it's a random one. 4th of July. Something 4th of July related.
Ah, yes, it is the 4th of July coming up. Damn.
Yeah. And then it will be The Boys. And then it will be for Love and Thunder.
Yes, thankfully. Get an extra week.
Some actual good content coming out.
Yes, there is. Can't believe it. Anyway.
Oh, and Miss Marvel at some point.
Yes. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you later.
Oh, also, I want to reiterate, I am going to start live streaming stuff over July. So
he's actually going to do Twitch streaming. Like I said I was going to do, and never actually bothered doing because I'm lazy.
That and YouTubing, because I'm going to upload the videos to YouTube.
Are you actually going to try editing this time as well?
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. I might play some Spider-Man, I might play some Ghost of Tsushima, I might play a bunch of games just to
make use of that premium service.
Yeah, make use of it, basically.
Fair enough.
I might stream some PlayStation 3 games. Who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll catch you later.
Bye!